Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alvina Damayanti and I'm from English Education number 1. So today I would like to present my presentation about language testing. So let's start from the first slide. So the first is subjective tasks. What is subjective tasks? Subjective tasks are those whose scoring is affected by the personal judgments of the scorer. To answer a subjective task, the pupil has to use his own words and expressions, whereas scoring of an objective task cannot be affected by the personal judgments of the examiner. To answer an objective task, the pupil has to select his answer from among 4 or even more alternatives. There are 4 differences of subjective and objective tasks. So the first is design. Subjective tasks easy to design, whereas objective tasks is difficult to design. The second one is score. Subjective tasks can be scored by machines, whereas objective tasks can be scored by machines. And the third is function. Subjective tasks can be used to evaluate overall achievement, and the last is number of tasks. Subjective tasks suit a large number of tasks, whereas objective tasks suit a small number of tasks. Second is about norm reference tasks or NRT and criterion reference tasks or CRT. Norm reference task is the process of evaluating and grading the learning of students by judging and ranking. By judging them and ranking them against the performance of their peers. Criteria preference task is the process of evaluating and grading the learning of students against a set of pre-specified criteria. NRT is a task that measures how the performance of a particular test taker or group of test taker compares with the performance of another test taker or group of test taker whose scores are given as the norm. Norm reference standardized tests can be used local, state, or national norms as a base. A test taker's score is therefore interpreted with reference to the scores of other test takers or group of test takers, rather than to an agreed criterion. CRT is a test that measures a test taker's performance according to a particular standard or criterion that has been agreed upon. The test taker must reach this level of performance to pass the test, and a test taker's score is interpreted with reference to the criterion score rather than to the scores of other test takers. Okay, so third is about appropriate task or reliability. Reliability refers to how dependability or consistently a task measures a characteristic. If a person takes the task again, will he or she get a similar test score or a much different score? A test that yields similar score for a person who repeats the task is said to measure a characteristic reliability. So next is about current task of validity. Validity is the most important issue in selecting a task. Validity refers to what characteristic the test measures and how well the test measures that characteristic. It is important to understand the differences between reliability and validity. Validity will tell you how good a test is for a particular situation, and reliability will tell you how trustworthy a score on that test will be. Okay, so the last slide is about authentic and artificial tests. An authentic task is a task that involves either real-world language use or the kinds of language processing found in real-world language use. Artificial task is a task that is prepared by the teacher or without the help of other teachers and are applied to their own class with moderate or low reliability covering narrow aspect. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry there are so many mistakes from my pronunciation too. Okay, I'm Alvina Damayanti. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.